Hello my friends, let's start with the Kherson direction. Here the Russians, as before, are striking their right bank. Only now it's not with artillery, but with multiple launch rocket systems. There is also a renewed intensification of attacks on the Ukrainian Armed Forces strongholds on the left bank. Reports indicate offensive actions in the village of Krinky and battles ongoing in the Peshchanivka area. Over the day, the front line remains unchanged, but the battles persist and the occupiers once again find themselves caught in their own minds while attempting to advance towards the village.
Today again there was an explosion of an armored fighting vehicle on a mine and on the same road, from the direction of the village of Kozachyi Labor. But here we will no longer be silent. All these armored fighting vehicles were BTR-82A from the 144th Motorized Rifle Brigade. This situation can be described in the following words. The personal dementia and courage of the commander of the 144th Motorized Rifle Brigade. The first time is a coincidence, the second time is a coincidence, and the third time is a pattern. In general, active measures are being taken to prepare troops for active operations in the Kherson direction. We're going to have a hot place soon.
Overall, as it seems, the Russians are trying at all costs, under Kremlin orders, to force the Ukrainian Armed Forces out of the left bank. Natalia Gumenyuk also commented on the situation that has developed.
На левом берегу Днепра, там, где самая напряженная ситуация, наши войска продолжают удерживать плацдарм и работать над его расширением в чрезвычайно сложных условиях, потому что враг не прекращает штурмовых действий. За последние несколько суток подтянули бронетехнику, до этого они опасались ее использовать, потому что были слишком большие потери. На определенном рубеже подхода к нашим плацдармам у врага уже сформировалась линия невозврата из бронетехники, которую сожгли наши аэроразведчики вместе с артиллеристами в контрбатарейной борьбе. И эта линия ужасающим образом останавливала штурмовые группы. После нее выдвижение происходило только пешим способом, то есть пехотные группы выдвигались, стрелковые бои шли непосредственно на территории сухопутья. И таких случалось за сутки от 8 до 13. Сейчас средний показатель — это 10 штурмов в сутки. Если брать несколько дней буквально Нового года, это фактически показатель очень средний, такой 10 штурмов на протяжении 24 часов. И при этом враг несет серьезные потери, возвращается на свои исходные позиции, докладывает своему командованию, что больше не пойдет, и их переформатируют в другие подразделения.
Meanwhile, in the Zaporizhzhia direction, fighting has resumed in the area of Robotyne, accompanied by intensified shelling along the entire front line. It's evident that the occupiers have regrouped, brought in more ammunition, and resumed their previous activities. Therefore, the destruction of the Russian army continues, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Vuhledar direction, offensive actions have also started from the village of Ryutne towards Novodanilivka. Meanwhile, shelling continues across the entire front line. In the Avdiivka direction, the situation remains highly challenging. Aside from the significant attacks in the rear and the destruction of civilian populations in the Pokrovsk district, there is immense pressure along the front line with relentless attacks. The occupiers are storming their positions of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the areas of Bakhmutivka, Svatove, and the coke and chemical plant. Battles have also resumed in the industrial zone, and on the southern flank, there are ongoing battles for Pervomayske and Nevelske. Further south, the occupiers are destroying villages, subjecting every meter of territory to shelling to eliminate any possible Ukrainian positions and advance further. This tactic is now consistently employed by the occupiers. After Shalin, they launched assaults on Ukrainian positions in the fields near Georgievka. There have been no successes in the last day. The front line remains unchanged, but the situation is extremely complex. Therefore, international support is crucial today, and it shouldn't diminish, but rather increase.
So I could speak to that, but the last one, but I know that my colleagues at the White House at least were planning to speak to it, and sounds like it have. So I don't have anything to add. It would be basically the same information. But yet, other than that, yes, we have seen Russia working to obtain ballistic missiles from Iran that they have not yet used, and we've seen them obtaining ballistic missiles from North Korea and actually using those. And beyond that, the White House has spoken to those details already. I don't think I need to repeat them. But with respect to the broader question, no, there has been not any change in strategy. And two, I don't think there's any tension between those two comments. We have always made clear that we want Ukraine to be an independent country, and that means that it can stand on its own 2 feet. We will continue to support Ukraine. It is the policy of the United States.
As long as it takes?
As long as it takes. That does not mean that we are going to continue to support them at the same level of military funding that we did in 2022 and 2023. We don't think that should be necessary because the goal is to ultimately transition Ukraine
in the Bakhmut direction. The occupiers are Shalin, Berestove, Ivanivsk, Klishchiivka, and Andriivka. At the time of creating this video, there are reports of offensive actions in Klishchiivka. However, in any case, we already know that the occupiers don't stop, but are regrouping and preparing for new attacks. In the Andriivka area, they are even digging underground tunnels to break closer to the positions of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Additionally, the occupiers are actively hitting the rear on this area and have once again shelled Konstantinivka. In the Siversk direction, the occupiers are conducting shelling, but there are no offensive actions as before. However, it's essential not to relax. Activations of the enemy are still expected on this front. In the Crimea area, shelling continues in Torske, Terny, and Nevsky, but there are no reported offensive actions and the front line remains unchanged. In the Svatove area, there is a complete lull, and even shelling is practically not taking place. However, in the Kupiansk area, there is renewed activity. Although it cannot be said that the occupiers are heavily storming the entire front line, 3 attacks have been recorded in the last day. The storms in Sinkivka continue daily, and today battles are ongoing for the highway and in the Ivanivsk area. At the same time, significant shelling activity is observed across the entire front line. It's evident that they have weakened and cannot aggressively conduct offensive actions to reach Kupiansk. However, even these attacks need to be repelled and the struggle continues. And journalist Andriy Tsaplienko showed how quickly the Russians adapt to new conditions of warfare. They have even launched industrial production of ammunition for drone groups.
The Russians are adapting to the new conditions of hostilities and, as an example of this, are demonstrating a factory projectile for dropping from UAVs. You can discuss the topic of Russian capacities as much as you like, but the fact remains. Russia makes airdrops at the state level, and we don't, although the creation of such discharges takes the lion's share of free time in UAV units. I'm not even talking about the material component, because the military does it mainly at their own expense.
If everything is unfolding according to this scenario, it's currently challenging to envision how to win this war and turn the situation on the front. So share your thoughts on this in the comments. As Zaluzhny mentioned, some technological changes are needed. And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.